Hello viewers, welcome once again to another edition of the Business Xray Show. And today we have a very interesting topic. We are talking about starting a business and starting where you are. Of course, the theme for our discussion this afternoon is starting small. Of course, we're looking at small 360 degrees in all dimensions. It can be in terms of money. It can be in terms of numbers of people, numerical strength of the workforce. It can also be in terms of where you're located as a business operation. But of course, the key thing is that you don't remain where you've started from. Now, that's one of the aspects I have to make clear right from the onset. And today, we have a very interesting business person who has begun his operation quite small and has actually been able to scale it to really greater heights. And the simplicity of his idea is what is the gist of today's discussion. And I'm very sure that at the end of the day, you're going to pick very critical learnings out of this. Now, in the studio today, let me welcome Ronald from Enterprise Uganda. Ronald, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here, and we want to thank all those who are joining us today. It's a pleasure having you joining us for the show today.
Beautiful. Now, our center of attention, our guest, our business personnel that we have in the house today is Simon. Simon, you're most welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to come here. As you have said, I'm Simon Mityana. Thank you.
Now, Simon is coming all the way from Ngora, as we are, yet to learn. There's a lot we're going to learn from Simon. And it's the journey that he has trekked as a business person that we are going to be focusing on and derive key learnings, which I'm sure are going to be quite riveting and encouraging to you as a business operator. Now, before we go into, the depth of the discussion, Ronald, even before you play the montage of Simon, for people to know who he is, because here we believe in taking you there. We want to take you where Simon operates from. I don't know, what caught your attention this week?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting week. This week we got into December. In December, all of us noticed that the year has ended. And I think there is, when you look at the year which we have gone through, it has been full of challenges. There was a time fuel prices crossed the 6,000 shilling mark. Yeah. Now they have reduced slightly. It's no longer what is at the front. We saw the inflation in a number of other items, and that has continued. We have seen we're just getting out of COVID. But I think for me, this week, what actually has remained with my mind is World Cup. And I've been fascinated at the people who have gone home first and who thought, when you hear big names like Germany, like Belgium, you actually notice that it's possible. I mean, the number of people in those groups who we thought, you will participate, yes, but don't plan to go ahead. But also the fact that giants are being brought down in circumstances which you ordinarily wouldn't think. You wouldn't think a team like Belgium, second in the world, would exit at this point, and Germany, which we know, it has a powerful history. So for me, I think one of the things, and as someone who is in the space of supporting business people, I think there are two messages. First of all, don't take it for granted. If you are a business which is operating and you've been doing well, you need to open your eyes to the reality that you could actually go and someone can take your place. But also for the people starting out, the people we say are the people who are small and they're not, you also need to believe that you can take on big players and actually take space. So for me, I think for the football lovers, those who are not are wondering what I'm talking about, but for the football lovers, it has been quite a week. And it's interesting, some of the lessons you can pick from that environment.
Quite interesting. I mean, when you draw a line between football and business, yes, it's quite impressive. You can begin small, actually, and do greater things. Exactly. That's the key message I'm picking there.
Exactly.
All right, viewers, we're going to take a very short journey and look at this story. A small video montage of Simon's business operation. And then we'll get back to the story after that.
Basically, my journey is a journey of 10 years ago. I started a business, a tailoring business, in the names of Simotech Investments Limited. And our purpose was basically to make uniforms and supply to schools. I started this business with 110,000 shillings. That's the money that I had, so I had to purchase a sewing machine. So one sewing machine that I got, I rented a small room just in a veranda actually. I got somebody's veranda where I could be doing tailoring service. So I had one gentleman who was working for me. Basically, I focused on that and I started looking for work in different places. Why did I start with a tailoring school? I mean, a tailoring business. Most people would basically complain and say that tailors are liars. They don't fulfill whatever you give them at the right time. So for me, I had the purpose, like I want to do something that's unique, whereby I will be delivering things according to the time that I have decided with the client. So in 2010, we ran with the one sewing machine, but shortly I saw it was a nice thing. So I bought another sewing machine, that's to make machines, 2 machines. Shortly I got an opportunity with Enterprise Uganda, and they called me for training in Soroti. When I attended that training, it opened up my mind. I saw that I was just sitting in an opportunity that would be a very big opportunity. So because where I was renting was just in a veranda, when I left after that training, I made up my mind that I'm shifting my business to town. I wanted to go and compete with other businesses. So after the Enterprise Uganda training, I just said that I came back and I realized I had an opportunity that would grow to be a bigger business. So I decided to shift from a veranda where I was operating my sewing machine from to a next town that's from Ngora to Kumi, and I rented a larger room. Personally, I'm not a tailor, but that was the passion that I had, or that's still a passion that I have. I wanted to do something bigger and better. I wanted to correct the mistakes, the perception of people about tailors. So I went and rented a place in Kumi, where currently Simotech Investment is. From there, we basically started getting contracts from schools, and our target was quality and timely delivery, which basically was the biggest complaint from most of the clients, that tailors don't deliver things at the right time and they don't do good work. I set up a system because I had knowledge about how to run this business. I set up a system that would run. I had networks with the people from Kampala who would supply me with materials and other places. So I saw this business growing so much. Now, from there, I realized that since I love children so much, and then wherever I could take uniforms to schools, I would hear complaints from directors, how it is a tough business and these other things. So I said, no, this business is good. Let me also join this case. If for them they're seeing a challenge in this business, let me see an opportunity. Because I'd researched about schools since I was dealing a lot more with the schools when it comes to uniform delivery. So in 2016, I started this school, Totasio Nursery and Primary School. I started by renting a place whereby if you see those current structures and compare with where we are now, it is totally a different place. First year I had 75 kids, pupils, but that did not discourage me. I knew where I was starting a business from was not the best place because of the infrastructure, but I had to put in things that attract kids, things that attract learners and the parents to come in to join me. I put up a strategy. I decided to work with border borders. So I could call for border meetings and I give them t-shirts. I tell them, every client you're carrying, tell them there is a school called Totasio. The school became more popular than it was. I mean, it is even. Because a parent would come, look at the school they are talking about, Totasio Nursery and Primary School, and then it's like, but this structures here cannot help. But I would convince the person that if you're looking for buildings, you can go elsewhere. But if you're looking for a good education service, you come here. So people trusted us and brought children. And therefore, with the support from my tailoring business that had grown, we are now supplying very many institutions, like, if I have to say, the colleges, the primary teachers' colleges all over Teso, in Kapchorwa, in Mityana. Simotech Investments was the one supplying uniforms. So I'd already really gotten money from that business. I started constructing this school 4 years ago. Now putting where we are now, the land that we own, I purchased this land, and then now I started construction. Many people ask me why Toto Asio, nursery and primary school. In Teso, Toto means mother, and then Asio is a name. That's my mother's name. So many people ask me why I call this school Toto Asio, why I've given it my mother's name. It's a story behind a poor boy who basically used to carry firewood, escorting the mother to go and brew, to make alcohol, in order to send me to school. So I would be carrying firewood in the morning, drop at the center where my mother used to sell marua from, Ajon in Ateso, and then I go to school. In the evening after classes, I leave school, I come pick up with the pots, maybe and other things, carry home, and that was the routine. We have very many achievements. I have basically seen many things that have turned in my life. One, if you look at the infrastructure here, it's worth millions of shillings. We came in, got a small piece of land here, but as we talk now, we have managed to secure more land behind, where currently, even when it's holiday, we are doing construction. We're putting up a dormitory for boys because the number of boys has also grown big, since the number of girls is also big. So by the time the school term opens next year, we should be having a dormitory for boys complete here and many things. The achievements here, we look at the catchment area. We have parents from as far as Katakwi, Amuria, Serere, and the Kumi, Mbali. That's a very big achievement. And so today, if you look at this school, what we are putting here, the population of over 500 learners are here. We have staff over 30 staff employed here. We have a boarding section and the day section. We have school vans that bring learners to school. As usual in a business, any business has challenges. So the food price, portion really became a big challenge this year compared to other years. So food crisis affects schools so much. Now what has helped me to stay in this business is, one, I'm a very consistent person, very consistent. I persevere. I don't give up. I know that success will always come and it follows those who work hard and who believe in themselves. The future plans we have here, because now, you see, this school, as I've told you, for the short time it has taken, but we already have a sitting center number. We had candidates sitting for primary 7 this year for the first time here without taking them anywhere. So we're already looking at the number is going to grow very, very big. When I look at around all over here, I've not seen a school with a flat. And inside me, I feel like when I put up a flat in this school, I'll feel like, yeah, I've done it. Because I want my office to be up there, whereby I can monitor the whole school when I'm just up somewhere. And then me being an IT person, I'm basically a specialist in information technology. So I want to ensure that a school located in this rural area has a computer lab so that my learners go digital. My advice to people who want to invest in school, the first thing is be patient. The second thing is be very patient. If you are not patient, my brother, my sister, you will run away. And you might be running away the year you are supposed to achieve your dream.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, that's the story of Simon. Quite humbling, so to speak. You know, start small and then build something. I don't know what you picked, Ronald, from you know, Simon's story before I bring him in. But one of the things that really touched me is the aspect of consistency. And I think that's where a number of our entrepreneurs fail. Or as a people, as Ugandans especially. You know, and it's quite loaded because it can be consistent in terms of being at your business every day. It can also be consistent in terms of the quality of service you're delivering.
Exactly.
Now, sometimes we tend to confuse that. I don't know what you've picked anyway.
Yeah, I think there are quite a number of lessons which come through. I like the last bit when Simon told us there are two things. First of all, be patient. Second thing is be very patient. It seems like the first patient is not enough to explain how patient you have to be.
Yes.
So, and as you speak to consistency, I mean, industries like education, they're tough industries. They're tough industries in terms of convincing the client, in terms of delivering value to the learners, but also delivering value over that period of time. But the same is true. I think Simon talked about the tailoring business where he started. But I think there is one message which comes out clear, and I hope we can, as we go through the show, the people who are watching can be able to pick it up. Is this idea that Simon always saw a problem. He said people were complaining about tailors. And when people were complaining about tailors, we decided that let me go into that space. Now, he's not a tailor, and that's a message in itself.
Yeah.
The fact that he's not a tailor, but he had a problem and he said, I can solve it.
Yeah.
And he solved it with time and quality, making sure things are done in time and their quality services. But then there is also the bit about noticing that every business which you get into, we see Simon saying that people were complaining, but I made sure that I come in to that space and I offer them something different. But then we also see that Simon did settle. Because, I mean, you can't be comfortable on the veranda where you have started the business. But the idea that I can be able to do more, the idea that I can keep growing. And for me, that is something which is powerful. And for the people who are watching us, who are already in business, there is a comfort zone every business person gets into. And things are okay. It's bringing the money. You can eat, you can drink, you can look after your family and your children. But there is a calling to do more as an entrepreneur, to make sure that if there is more you can be able to do, to create more jobs,
then do it.
That is something which you need to do.
I agree. I hear you. I get you. Now, Simon, just sorry, I'll take you back a bit, because I'm sure there are those that are looking at what you've done, and they're looking at you in the studio now, and they're wondering, how old is Simon? What kind of training did Simon get at school?
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much once again. And to all the viewers of NTV, I want to still thank Enterprise Uganda and NTV for giving me this opportunity basically to share my experience about business, so that this may motivate many people outside there to start business. As I've told you, still Simon Inyalio from Ngora to Kampala today. I'm 40 years old now. Yeah. And the journey to business started small, as you really said earlier on. You start small and don't despise the beginning. Whatever you have can be your capital. Most of the people think you have to have a lot of money packed there to start a business. That business most likely may not succeed. But when you start small, it makes you to understand every part that you pass through in that business that you're starting. And I've told you that it was 110,000 that I had the time I said I have to start a business. So then I said, let me first start by buying one sewing machine. But how did I come up with that particular business of tailoring? The problem was there. I'd already seen that complex. Ngora has very many schools within one area. We have Ngora High School, we have Ngora Nursing School, Ngora Girls, then there's a hospital there, and other schools, Teso Progressive and so forth, Teso Integrated, just within one location. So I was like, but these people, how can I make sure that I do something that serves them? But one machine did not deter me starting a business. So I first started by renting a space in a veranda, as you have watched from the clips. It started on, well, then I got an opportunity. There's a friend who goes from the hospital called Dr. Titus. He became a very close friend to me and told me that I want to link you with a program called Enterprise Uganda. I've had their trainings, and if you attend that training, you'll not be the same person. So he made sure I did all the connections. And I attended the first training in Sorot Hotel. Comfortably, I was there. So from that training, the day I left that place, I said, no, I'm not going to remain in the veranda. I need to now expand. Because they gave me enough knowledge on customer care, financial discipline, and many other things that they gave. Because that training was basically for the beginners. And I deserved it. So I reached the next day. I said, let me go to Kumi town, because now the next town is Kumi. That's I would really feel like if I'm in Kumi, I can serve Ngora, I can serve Mbale, I can serve Soroti. So I moved to Kumi and started looking for places where I could be. But because I'd already learned that the location of your business is a key. So I said, no, I'm not entering in the other market where all dealers want to be. I want to be in the main road, where whoever passes should see that there is a tailoring shop there. So that's how for me, because I had no knowledge now from the enterprise Uganda training. So I set up a simple place. I carried one machine. I brought there. So, you know, opportunity knocks the prepared, as I've told you. Shortly from nowhere, the project, Compassion Projects, one of them came and like, hey, there's a place here that deals with uniform. I'm like, yes, we want you to supply us with uniform. Come to our office. I said, okay, this is already
opportunity.
the opportunity. So I went there. As usual for me, I am not a tailor, but when I approach you, I introduce myself as a professional tailor. Because any question you're going to ask me about tailoring, I can answer. I know everything now. It's just in my fingertips. And if you put a roll there and I look at the number of kids, I'll tell that this number of shirts will come from that. This number of shorts can come from that. Because now I know the business that I'm running. So these guys, people gave me work. Very first, what I did, I bought another sewing machine. Actually, I bought 2 ones. So I told my tailors, we're not going to do things from inside. I want you to come out and people see you, that you are here. And that is it. Started doing it slowly like that. We got known from that town as Simotech Investments. The company that deals in uniforms, basically uniforms.
That's a good one, Simon. And from what you're saying, one, you're a businessman, but I see one of your strong points is actually salesmanship. You know, the ability to sell yourself. Because not every day that, you know, someone who is not, let's say professionally trained to do something, like a tailor and that kind of thing, is able to sell something that probably is not trained in, you know, to make. Now, I want you to speak to that. You know, the salesmanship in you and how you've refined it over time for the business you're doing.
First of all, in business, you, the owner or the director, you are the face of the business. That's the first thing you should know. If you are not going to present yourself in a way that people will respect, even your business will not be respected. And therefore, to convince a client to give you work, he first has to look at you and imagine that I think if I give this person work, he can do it. Let me tell you something that one time happened. There was an organization that advertised for T-shirts. They wanted over 2,000 T-shirts. I went in looking for work on a border. Another person came driving. But because I also had my profile, they said, no, let's give this young man only 500. We give the other guy 1,500. So I told myself, now I want to challenge these people. I delivered those T-shirts within a period of 1 week. I'd finished. The other person failed to deliver. So they called me to complete his work. So with that alone, I realized, okay, I need to improve on myself.
Package yourself better.
So very fast that week, I also imported my first sticker. Because of that, I said, I need what? I need a car.
It's part of the capital.
Yes, so that when I go there, they know that, oh, the man has come. And by the way, it has helped. Beautiful. When you reach there, maybe you are driving, they really see that, what kind of tailor is this?
That's a good lesson. I love it. Now, before I bring in Ronald here, you choose Kumi. And I want you to paint a picture for our viewers who are watching. How big is your operation, and why did you choose Kumi as your base?
Okay.
And is it a hindrance anyway?
So basically, most people think if you have to be successful, if you have to do a business, you have to go to a very big town, like go to Kampala, Mbale, or Soroti town. But for me, it is not about that. It's about how do you market what you have. You move with a product and show them that this is what I have. I can do it within the shortest period of time possible. That's why, of course, moving from Ngora to Kumi, I wanted just to be in that highway. So that access to a person, anybody coming from any direction can say, I think the nearest person I can reach to, a place I can go to, is Simotech in Kumi. That location has not affected me. As you have seen that, I now do business as far as Mityana, as far as Kapchoro, Mbale town, Soroti. It is the network that I've created. If Simotech does for you work, like one uniform for a school or a corporate uniform, when you meet in your functions there, you'll be telling them that if you have a challenge of uniform, there's a young man who can do it. And always they they recommend. So from there you get a call from a school that you have not even known. That, okay, this is so and so. We want you to visit us on the issue of what? Uniform. Because now I give more than just making uniform. I reach the school, and if there's a new school, I give advice on the fashion, the design of the uniform. That's where now we do that. Okay, if you want uniform, I can design for you. I give you like 2 samples, but I can say this one will sell you more. And of course, I don't want to keep repeating the uniform that's in this school, should do in the other school. No. We sit and design something as a team. Like, I think this uniform can market a school. So by doing that, it has really helped us.
I hear you.
Like that side, people do not know about corporate uniform. But when I introduced it, and now I don't just stick to white shirt or something. No, I come either to Kampala here, I go online and look at what is now currently trending. By the time you are taking it to a school, they're like, yeah,
beautiful.
This one will work.
Beautiful. Ronald, I don't know what you're picking from that submission.
Well, there are quite a number of messages that are coming through from Simon. The first customer, I mean, the decision to move. And for many business owners, that's a challenge. Sometimes you get comfortable in a specific space and you start struggling to say, should I move? Now, the people who know where Kumi is right on the highway, and now I think the road from Kumi to Palisa has also been made, so there is a better connection. But Ngora is a bit inside, and that decision may be a business. And the people who are listening, that could be the decision which you need to make in your business. That possibly I need to shift my location a bit because I may be able to access more. But for me, I think there was also the message of the preparedness. I think Simon talked about how opportunity meets the prepared. The fact that he has an allocation, it added a bit of trust in the Compassion team. Compassion is a big organization. If it's going to do business with you, there are basic minimums. So, for example, you have to have a location where you are located for them to do business with you, and that's a good thing. But also, you need to make sure that when the opportunity comes, you're actually prepared for it. And that's important. When you go and you are invited by Compassion, they will tell you, do you have a business name? You have to have the business name. Do you have a TIN number? You have to have the TIN number. And you saying no to those things is a missed opportunity. So as a business owner, you need to ask yourself, have I prepared that bit of my business? As a business grows, more opportunity will come. Now, if you're saying that I'm not going to get a TIN number, then you are also saying no to such customers, because at the very minimum, if Compassion is to do business with you, they will need to know where they file your withholding tax if they have to charge any. And that, now you could be able to charge a premium to a customer like Compassion, and they will give you 1,000 uniforms to make. But the point is that you need to make sure that preparation is key. And as I listened to Simon, I think that's something. I think possibly the viewers have noticed his brand is Simotech. That's the company name. Now, he doesn't walk around as Simon. He walks around as Simotech. So that when they say, where is the documentation for Simotech, that actually exists. Then there is the bit here, which I think is equally interesting, about the idea here of the borders. I thought it was a bit interesting. You know, when you talk about marketing, you say, but now, can I get my advert on NTV? It might be a bit of an expensive venture. And the truth is that it could be. But even within your location, you can be able to sell your brand. Giving a reflector to a border man, now we are in the reflector season. Possibly as a business owner, this is a good time to invest in reflectors. And you say, let me put reflectors with the R&M restaurant. So that everyone, and you tell the man that everyone who sits, you remember I'm the one who gave you a reflector. Tell him, if you're hungry, that is the restaurant. And we see that with Simon's story, that they started talking about Toto Asio. And the fact is that he gave a T-shirt, and the T-shirt may look like it's free, but it is just a low-cost marketing strategy. So as our businesses need to pick out such lessons and say, are there ways I can do this? Because you need to market your business. Sometimes people don't know that it's there. So when I read Toto Asio, I may not even know that it's a school. It could be anything. But the fact that my border man who I trust tells me, by the way, I see you with Junior there. Why is a Junior in this school?
And they like telling the stories, the
Yes,
border
and they will tell stories. They will tell, you know, this school is very good. It's clear, you know. Best marketers, I mean, the borders know what is happening everywhere. So that's something which I thought was also very key. And then a final one was a bit on this advice. Now, when you are in any business, you need to ask, how do I give value to my customer? I liked what Simon said, that when I go to make a uniform for you, I say, by the way, you know this design, there are so many schools which have it. But if you change it like this, your uniform will be a bit different. Or if the color is like this color has a way it fades very quickly, and that uniform won't finish the term. But this one is more resilient. That is the real value add. So you are not just a tailor. You're not just making me, but you are kind of giving me value. So in a business owner who is listening, you need to ask yourself, how do I give value? And sometimes the value is knowledge. I know whether some of you have noticed when you go to a pharmacy, some pharmacists are also, they're doctors. So you say, but my pain is in this corner and in this corner. I say, there, this is the medicine. So in as much as you have bought the medicine, the consultancy fee which you have to pay to a doctor, actually that is value which has been given by the what? By the pharmacist. So those are the bits which you need to pick. And especially in a time when customers are hard to secure, there are possibly some 40 companies which are looking for that school.
So the question is, what is the value add?
What is your value add? And you need to be able to put that on the table.
Thank you, Ronald. Viewers, we're going to take a very short commercial break. We're still going on after that break with Simon's story. After the break. Hello, welcome back. It's still the Business Xray show, and today we have a story of Simon. Simon runs 2 business operations. He's into the business of uniforms, corporates, and schools. That's under Simotech.
Yes.
And then he has also established a school, Toto Asio Primary and Nursery School in Ngora district. Now, quite an interesting story, because he began, you know, business as a young man, began small, and has today been able to build, you know, something that is good, big, and growing. Now, Simon, of course, at some point, when you begin a business, it starts to grow, you employ people, of course, you have a clientele that you're serving. Now, the key is to keep that business going.
Yes.
Yeah? It's like swimming.
Yes, sure.
When you stop kicking, it's a given, you go down. Yeah? So what are some of those principles that are keeping you going and are seeing you growing to the few boxes that you've ticked today?
Okay. Basically, in every business, as I've said, that you start small, but you need to have the basic things, like a simple business plan. You need that plan, because even they say wind may not help a boat which has no direction. At least you should be knowing the direction you want to take. So every time, as long as you have a simple business plan, when you feel like you are falling off, you go back to your business plan and see that you follow. You had already started. So most people, of course, fail. They don't even, as we say, business don't celebrate an anniversary. Because one, they are not consistent in what they are doing.
Yes.
You just start something because you think the other person is making money, you also run to that venture. Do you first of all have inside you the love for what you are starting? Because the change is that door that opens from inside. And when it opens, you start seeing what exactly you want, and you focus into that direction. Otherwise, I would have said tailoring, start it shortly, because it doesn't make money immediately you start. But you just keep knowing that the customer will come. There are days you do, mostly when I was beginning, you feel like, oh, I close this thing. Then you tell your mind that, no, but that's not the beginning plan. I have to make sure it is open. Actually, the day you feel like quitting, that's the day opportunity is going to come to you. Even just small shops, I would say there. You can be in the shop from morning to 5, no client. comes in, and you feel like maybe I just go out. But shortly, is that you can get the biggest number of clients in the evening that you had never planned.
No.
So don't ever give up as long as you're following what? Your plan. You see, like starting, the schools you're seeing today that was applying in from are too big schools, too big for a company that would just started from a veranda. Like, look at a school like Ngora High School. It's completely a boarding school that has 1,000 plus learners. Then they entrust you, do for us uniform. And you know, they want quality, and there's also quantity at the same time. A school like Sorote Senior Secondary School is too big. When I got that contract last year, when they gave me to supply 2,000 shirts once. Oh, if Simotech was not a prepared business really, and having connections, maybe I would have not what? Managed. But because I understand what I am doing and I love what I'm doing, you keep talking to staff. Even when money delays, please talk to your staff. Keep motivating them, tell them this will work. Because sometimes we have absentee businessmen. You just start a business, drop there, and you're folding your hands in a bar. You're waiting for money to come from the business. My friend, will call us very soon. Even if it is in a location that is what?
You got to be there.
Yeah, you got to be there. You got to be checking on them, got to be talking to the workers. Be creative.
Very interesting.
Be creative. Because like you see, I did not start with the embroidery on uniform. But when I realized many people are getting onto uniform and they're putting paste, this ordinary paste, I said, no, I have to leave them behind. Let me go for what? Embroidery. Now you cannot compete with me easily from that side. Because when you take your sample, they're like, why this paste will fade? Simotech comes in with the embroidered logo. So you see, you have to be creative, be innovative. You keep on moving so that people don't always leave you behind. You know, people have money, by the way, but they don't know how to put it and where to put it. So they'll just come and say, but this guy has been here and is making money. Gets people and puts in money. Even if that kind of person comes, for you remain sticking to your business plan. Remain stuck to your business plan.
Good point. Yes. Good point, Simon. And viewers, you can be part of this discussion. We're going to have the number on that screen, WhatsApp number, where you can direct your questions and comments. But the question I want to ask, Simon, is, you know, I know it's an everyday question to a number of entrepreneurs. I've talked to many who do not want to actually base their operations in their home area. And the number of reasons for that, Ronald here can tell you. It could be from, just some people may not see you, you know, well, when you're progressing. Others, it's about the favors, the special favors they feel they're entitled to, because you probably grew up eating their mangoes and the like. Others are your cousins and the like. How have you been able to reconcile those issues and stay focused and do what you do? Okay,
basically, it's like that's human resource and dealing with the community, neighbors. Every time I'm in my business, I have to have a smile.
Okay.
Even if things are tough like that, as long as you're calm, my face has to change. It's now the face of a receptionist. So that's the first thing that I do to everyone. Either I know you, either you're dressed in lousy what, but I have to smile and I have to welcome you, and I have to listen to you. I first give you the ear.
You're like a TV news anchor.
So when you listen to somebody, you keep advising. Me, I tell them that, okay, you see, I want you to learn from me. I have grown up here. I've started the thing from here, and you're seeing how it is growing. I can tell you, you can also start. You can do something small. And if you have passion for it, it will grow like the Simon you are admiring today. And many young men, by the enjoy being around me. Because when you come to me, it's not about giving you money, it's giving you what? Advice. And by the time they go, they're like, oh, that guy is the one who told me. Then I started my chapati business. Because me, I have made sure I simplify for people that capital is starting from your brain, not how much money you have. I tell everyone that it is your brain first that you start with as capital. Then I can break down like, okay, if you want to make chapati really, how much money do you need to start a chapati business? You need to have trustworthiness from the community. You can go to a shop and tell a guy, give me a sacket of what? Engano.
I hear you.
Give me cooking oil worth this amount of money. Then even move to the charcoal man, at first give me charcoal 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings. then you start in the evening. People will always eat your chapati. Either you want it or no. Chapati will always go. After you take back the money that you back to pay the people have given you things, you remember with something small. Okay? Tomorrow again, you go back, and when they start trusting you, you will definitely grow. I get calls now from even Indians in Mbale, in Kampala. When like the year is beginning, they call you that, hey Simon, the stock is available, we have this and this for you. If you try to pretend like, Arena, I don't have money, like, no, Simon, come. Why? Because they know when you give this guy this material, he will do it and bring you your money. That is the trust that you do with the people outside. For people who fear that maybe doing business at home is not good, first of all, one, the language matters. If I'm an artisan, if I come to your office and speak artisan with you and really explain to you, you will feel like, why don't I give this homeboy my work? The best person I've always loved is the editor of Sorot Senior Secondary School, Mr. Kiria Martin Obore. That guy is a nice guy. He's this guy who wants to see people grow. You see? He wants to see people grow. So if you go and explain yourself that, for me, I'm a homeboy, this is what I'm doing, he will give you a try.
I hear you. So the advantages you can actually
the advantage is
on.
there. In Ngora High School, our head teacher, Mr. Elfas, is totally a very nice person. That when you just approach him and sell your idea to him, that I can do this and I am a person from here, they will give you work compared to a person coming from Kampala looking for uniform from Ngora. And then also, there's this feeling like, okay, this place is in Kumi. When I'm driving to Kumi, I will pass and check the work that they are doing. That is also another advantage that you'll have over the person who comes from far. So me working at home, doing business at home,
is a good thing.
Yeah. And then the other one, you see, like when you're doing uniform, there are these, I call them mistakes, like tailors spoiled something, and so there are those clothes, you give them out. Now you're like, December is on, I'll go and give them out to people. And
donation.
They'll be very happy that they're always happy and they promote me.
So that's part of your corporate social responsibility.
I go and give to children. There are t-shirts that you buy and they get some small damage that I don't want to take to a school. I go and distribute.
Beautiful. Before I bring in Ronald, very quickly, you know, just to take you back a little.
Yes.
When you look at your story, it's humble beginnings. You know, you collected firewood. I was looking at the montage to help Mama prepare Ajon so that you can mobilize some school fees.
Yes.
Again, there's a story you told me even before we came to this show, where you sold water in Biko, and then the fact that you were a head boy without shoes and all that stuff. Now, how did you manage to beat, you know, because there's normally a confidence issue, you know, maybe confidence is not the right word, but, you know, it tends to affect people's ability to really stand out. You know, it tends to rub them the wrong way. But the Simon I see here is a very confident person, and I'm sure the journey you've trekked to where you are today wouldn't be possible if you are really a timid, you know, person who is not assertive and that kind of thing. How did you manage to, you know, overcome that, to transcend, you know, that
the person I am today.
Yes, which would actually affect your esteem under normal circumstances? Because I know the number of young people who are watching you and they're like, how do you do that? Yeah,
challenges have to make you strong. That's the first thing. When you face many challenges, you have to become quite strong. I told you that I was the head boy without shoes. It is true, I was the head boy of a primary school, but I didn't have shoes. Other people had shoes. And it did not stop me from standing in front.
So you're leading guys with the shoes? And
yes, leading guys with the shoes. And I always laugh. I'm like, now my wife, I tell her that, see, I didn't have shoes, but now I have a shoe rack. You can't have a shoe rack with one pair of shoes. So it means you must have pairs of what? Shoes in your house.
Yes.
So that, for me, it did not stop me from doing that. You see, these people Enterprise Uganda, the trainings they have taken me through, my friend, you have to change ever much. And I read a lot of books. I read a lot. I read business books. Those books you have seen in the streets, I've stopped, picked, went, read, and looked at them and said, okay, this one I put aside. I pick the lessons from that book. So you have to keep reading and then interacting. The people surrounding me now and before are very important to my life.
Yeah.
You don't, you mean like if you're a teacher, if you check on a teacher's phone, he has contacts of teachers from other schools, isn't it? Doctor also has contacts for the doctors and so forth. But me, I'm this person who, if you check my phone, you'll get Enterprise Uganda there. You'll get the doctors in my phone. You'll get the other schools in my phone. Different people. I move with people who basically add value, who add something to me, who inspire me. Who, when we are moving, they don't take me astray from my plan. And then also, I'm a dangerous person. When you move with me, I'll change you. If I see the things you do and you will accept to move with me, either in being smart or doing what I am doing. So many people have started business because they have moved with me. Because I don't want to keep you where you are. I'm saying that no, you can change. Yeah, so basically know the people you are moving with, and when they are discussing with you, what discussions are you having with them? Is it something just that for fun? No. You must make sure you walk in that direction. So surround yourself with the right people, and then you'll be speaking confidently like that.
Ronald, you have quite a lot to...
Oh, yes. Amazing lessons coming through. Listening to Simon, I think there is a message there for people who are in business, people who have done as well as Simon has done, or even better. The way we deal with the community, I thought that was a powerful community, because all of us have to deal with that extended family, the uncles or the friends of the uncle who are part of your family, give or take. Now, I think it's very important to ask, how do we deal with them? And I thought Simon brought out a couple of good lessons. The first one is, before you choose to give, the most important thing you need to give your community is your testimony, and how you have actually gotten there. Because, I mean, when I come to you and I'm a young person, I know Simon is in Ngora or in Kumi, it has been a very hot day. I want Simon to give me a bottle of water. But Simon taking off the time to tell me that, take me through the business plan for the Rolex, which he has just taken us through, that I think is something which the business community needs to do more, so that we get those stories out. The business shouldn't be shredded in some kind of hazy, that we are not sure how he made his money, but he made it. There is always a path, and there are lessons which can be picked. So me, I think it's very important that business people tell their stories to their communities. They tell their stories to their churches, to their mosques, to their immediate family members, so that people understand that this is the journey I have taken. And I think it's a big responsibility for business owners to make sure that the stories are being told. Because when you find that in this country, most of the stories which are told, actually not even from the country, you pick an average young person, he will tell you, I understand how Warren Buffett made his money, but that's Warren Buffett. And the person who you need to understand is someone who is a bit closer to the community, and someone who you can fully relate to. So I thought that was something which was powerful, so that you can be able to allow the community to understand your story and not shy away. And I've had a number of business people say, but you know, when you tell your story, sometimes you attract unnecessary attention. But I think in the spaces which we can be able to get, let the stories be told, because that is what transforms. At Enterprise Uganda, we use testimony quite a bit in our training and case studies. And it is the transformation is usually seated in saying, and a young person who is seated out there, see Simon here, see Simon, I know. And that's his story. And he's 40, and I am 25. In 15 years, I think I can get there. So that is something which needs to happen. Then there is the bit about seeing the opportunity. I like when Simon talked about the language. Now, you could say that I have so many relatives who are making a line to ask for money, but then you can also talk to them. That means that everyone, you can relate with them. People can be able to relate with your story. I mean, there is the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda campaign, which is Bubu. Now, why do you want to buy Uganda? Because you want to, first of all, make sure that the business closest to you has been activated. But this should be localized, actually. And we should say that if I'm somewhere in Kaberamaido, the business community in Kaberamaido feels my effect as a school, and I want to commend the Simon's customers. You said Ngora High and Soroti High, Soroti SS. The point is that it is important, as especially the people who run big business, and this could be a big school, this could be Compassion, a big corporate. It's very important. You know, sometimes it causes a problem if the uniforms were carried all the way from Kampala and they are taken to Ngora. And then people say, but can't we? And may I think, but you need to understand that also the business owner needs to meet the quality standards.
Because it's not
I mean,
charity.
they're not going to take your, they don't take because Simon's shirts because he's a homeboy. They take them because they are good quality shirts. And it's important that we actually make sure that happens. Then he talked about supplier credit. I think it is a powerful source of capital. He talked about it in the simplest way of I go and ask for 1 pack of ngano, and I ask for some cooking oil, and I ask for some charcoal. All that is capital. It is credit which has been given to you. But he said something which is powerful, that every time you get it, take it back. And when we see him saying that there are big suppliers in Mbale, big suppliers in Kampala who call him at the end of the year, or who call him when they have just gotten a new container, they say, there's some very good material I have, Simon. You need to take it. Then Simon says, but I don't have any money for you. He says, no, just pick it. Because I know within the next 3 weeks, within the next 1 month, you'll pay it. Supplier credit is such a powerful tool, but its foundation is trust. Its foundation is trust. So it means when you take that 1 pack from that retail shop, you don't go to the next retail shop and start the arrangement again. Because very soon you will exhaust all the retail shops. I don't think that these retail shops don't talk to each other. Even the big suppliers, they talk to themselves, say, Simon has your money, yes, he has your money, he hasn't paid yet. Then they all say, no, you have to bring cash. Actually, if you're a business owner, and every time you go to someone who is supplying you, they ask for cash, it is very strong feedback. Why can't they give you credit for 2 days? Why can't you get credit for a week? It is very strong.
It's a terrible indictment.
Exactly. And we work a lot. One of the services we do at Enterprise Uganda is business mentorship and business counseling. And every time we talk with a business, you know, there's the training. But business counseling is powerful because it allows to talk to the business. So I come to you, I say, so how long have you been in business? I've been in business for 5 years. Say, so you're running a restaurant, yes. So you still buy matokes, all the food. Where do you buy it from? Says, but the problem is that every time I go, people, I pay cash. I said, but they can't lend you a batch of matoke for 3 days or 2 days. Why? If you have sold all the food, why isn't the money for the matoke going back to the owner? And what you notice is that you have burnt all those bridges and you have lost any trust for people to get back. So if you're a business owner and you see that you have to pay cash all the time, you are not a startup, you have been running for 4 years, but you have to pay cash. It is feedback. Because there are people in this city who get credit of 10 million, who get credit of 30 million. Even there are people who get credit of $100,000 or even $500,000. And they have given them the items to do the work. But all that comes from building the trust. So supplier credit is powerful and every business owner should use it, but it is destroyed when you break the trust. I think one final thing is networking. And he talked about this. One of the things which is critical for you as a business owner, and I think Simon put it as that you are the face of the business, but you are the biggest marketer of your business. It means on your status on WhatsApp that you have to make sure your business is known. When you get an opportunity to speak, you introduce your business. If you are in a conference anywhere and you put up your hand, be it an environment conference, be it a conference on HIV and AIDS, we are just coming from AIDS Day, you stand up and you say, my name is Simon and I am from Simotech. That is important. Now, business people sometimes feel shy. What will people think? But the truth is that we won't think anything at all if you say nothing. At least tell us and we say we disagree with your product. So you need to ask yourself, how am I networking? And networking starts with the immediate people. The headmasters of schools talk to each other. They say, who makes uniforms? Say, this is the man. Here is the number. That is how you get there. But also, you as the business owner, you need to make sure you're creating value. You're creating value for those customers of yours. So that when you have an opportunity to also say, there's business you can drive to that person, you drive business to them. And that means networking is giving and taking. But you can't be, and this usually is a place where entrepreneurs who are skill-based entrepreneurs, I'm a very good tailor, and I make the best shirts, but I don't want to talk to anyone about my shirts. The shirts should speak for themselves. It doesn't work that way. You need to make sure that you go out there and you market and sell your business.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, Simon, I want to come to you. I know, one, I have to give it to you. You're a good marketer, and we've seen it. You're a man who really maintains a smile always. But I know business has several facets. There's the good, there's also the bad. You know, to avoid not being so negative, I'll call it the challenges in business. How do you deal with challenges in business? And because you run fairly two big operations, the school on one side, and then the tailoring operation on the other side. When challenges come in business, what are the principles that drive you to actually deal with them, and how do you generally deal with them? And I know there are quite a number of entrepreneurs that are keenly looking at that.
Yeah, surely. That's true. There are many challenges that also come with it, because I've always told people that, you see, it doesn't get simpler, but it becomes familiar. And so those challenges become just familiar. So when you see one come, you're like, okay, that sounds simple. I think this is the solution I need for that. You don't face it like, oh, a big problem has come, start panicking. No. Sometimes when people laugh, my staff laugh, when they see that there's a problem, but for me, I'm laughing. I tell them, no, don't have to stress yourself. There is always a solution for every problem. As long as you have identified a problem, there's going to be a solution to it. Like in schools, like the location that you have there, basically parents' payment of fees may be what?
Challenge.
A challenge. But your work is to keep talking to them. I basically tell the class teacher that, you see, if you don't talk nicely to the parents, they'll not bring the money. And that money is supposed to be used for paying you and for buying food. So you have a school phone there. Anytime in the evening, talk to the parents nicely. First, motivate them about the child's performance. And tell them that we don't need to send this child home. The child will miss. Because really, I'm seeing either school, Akelo is really improving. So that talking to parents alone through the class teachers, I get, and you know,
that's how you convinced Akelo to say his favorite goat to keep the daughter in school.
Because the daughter has to be at
I
school.
hear you.
And you realize at the end of the day, people are bringing money. You're like, okay, if other schools may be chasing the whole school home. No, I tell them, free time is there in school phone, talk to the parents, and it will work. So that one, we try to handle that. Of course, then the other challenge of food, like this year, food crisis. But yes, I said earlier on, you have to be creditworthy. I mean, and be trusted with suppliers. So you have people who have grinding mills and other and so forth. Then you give them a call that I need this number of bags of posho, the money will come. They know. They will give you food.
Beautiful,
and
beautiful.
Your school will run. Even in tailoring, sometimes, of course, managing staff. The first team that I employed, yes. I started by saying I'll be paying you monthly because I was learning. So after they saw that the business was growing, within the shortest time they're asking for increase in pay. So I called a friend, my mentor, because you have to have these people, you have to have mentors always. I called him and explained to him that the challenge right now I'm facing these people. They are already telling me to increase what? Salary. He told me that, okay, you sit this night and look at it. If it affects your business performance, fire them and change your strategy. If you feel like increasing that salary, it doesn't affect you, increase and keep them. So that night, I sat, I'm like, okay, I'm just beginning. If really I increase on this people pay, the thing might go. So I told myself, okay, let me now change the mode of payment. Instead of salary, to piecemeal. When you produce a piece, we'll pay you this amount of money. So next day I walk there in the morning, I call him up, I want to have a meeting with you. They thought maybe I'm talking about increasing salary. And I said, okay, we are now changing the mode of work. If you make 10 trousers times the number of money we have agreed, that's how I'm going to be paying you, so you can make as much money as possible now. If you're comfortable with it, you stay. If you're not comfortable, quit. So you see, but those 3 first tailors of mine, did not. I think they were getting advice from out that you're making this guy successful faster.
I've seen you had changed the way you're walking.
Yeah. So they left. And but before they left, I told them, you see, you're making a mistake if you're going to leave. You have not learned anything. I was opening them. If you leave this place, you have not learned anything, and you're not going to manage. Because you should have first learned how I do things before you leave. And that's what happened to them. So I now went to Mbali. I went to the market, and I'm like, okay, I have a challenge. I want to look for the tailors here. So I knew some tailors used to do for me some clothes. So when I approached one, like I have work, but I want tailors who will move from Bali to Ngora or Kumi, sit there and do for me uniform. I pay you, go. One like, only that. That's what we have been looking for. Like, oh, so can you mobilize for me good tailors? So like, yes. from nowhere, they said, yeah, we're here. When do you want us? I'm like, what? This is the best deal. Okay, let me pass it go. So I went back and added more machines now to put in electronic machines. You saw them from the other manual, because now work was really growing up faster. Okay. So when they came, everyone was like, wow, Simotech has changed. Now they have people who are doing work. Because when you give a person to do work at the level of piecemeal, he does not leave work at 6. Even at midnight, the person wants what? To work. Because he knows if I left now, I'll get little money.
I'll lose something.
Yes. So that challenge also, I sorted out in that way. So always think ahead as the manager or the director of the place. You have to think what? Ahead. Look for solutions that are simple and not either disagreeing and say, let me close it now that way.
Beautiful, Simon.
Yeah.
Viewers, you've heard Simon. His strategy is quite something. Now, I want to go into some of the responses from the viewers. I see quite many are coming through. We can start offloading them, and we'll be a bit brief as we do this. I have Ronald. Ronald is saying, thank you for the show. How did the entrepreneur, Simon, go about financing expansion of his business? Was it purely from profits? And how do you go about managing the finances of your business day to day?
Okay, yeah, most people would say, but how did this happen to that level that you were in? Yes, the first thing was not borrowing any money. That was the first thing. It was first of all to do work and deliver. Okay. I told you earlier on that for me, in Simotech, we were these guys who are like, we don't go for many things that we cannot accomplish. If I see that I've signed 3 contracts and I want to satisfy the customer, I stop there. Even if others are calling me, I say, no, right now we are occupied. Because I don't want to get a lot of work and spoil the name that I've made for many years.
Yes.
Slowly, most business people, where they go wrong is, everyone who brings something to them, they take. They think that putting the scam. No, you should have a limit. That beyond this, I cannot deliver. And this appointing one customer can affect the whole name that you build. You know, there are customers who will give you work and they come and just quarrel. And everyone hears that, oh, that person's quarreling because this guy is failed
issues
to fulfill our demands. Like we have in Ngora, sorry, to have Koreans who have schools there. Right now they're coming slowly because do one at a time. And some of them are so good that they'll even deposit you money. They'll ask you, how much is this contract? You say it's about 20 million. Okay, how much money should I deposit to you? You can tell them, give me 50%. Some of them just say, no, they'll do the work, you'll pay me. Because, business has been there for some time, so it has grown. So when they give that percentage, don't divert that money to do the other person.
It's a confidence builder.
Yes, don't divert that money.
Very good, Simon. So I have Wile Mabosi from Bali. He's saying, thanks for hosting Simon today for such a wonderful conversation. Just wanted to ask Simon to share some of the, how do you approach finances, management and everything?
Okay. So don't be the boss who does everything. That is the other thing, that because money has fallen into account, you are the one supposed to pick it, go and do this. No. The first thing is, one, I have the accountant who does these things. The school has a school bursar, and Simotech has somebody who does manage finances, and then also have somebody who checks on the quality. You have to have those people. They just be there. You may think, what is this person doing here? But the quality has to be checked so that things move on. So when you get the money, of course, you have to have your budget always. That this is what we're supposed to purchase and use for doing this and this. This one is going to be used for paying salary. Because as long as you don't pay workers, they will always run away and you'll keep struggling looking for them. But when they're paid, anything you tell them, they'll say, it will work. So financially, you have to have those people, even financial teachers. The people like attending their workshops, they'll tell you about finances, how to manage your finances. You have to differentiate between the business money and your personal money. If you have a need that is outside the business, is it the real need that you need to sort out there and then? One mentor one time told me that there has not been anybody who has been failed to be buried when he dies. So don't think if they're asking for money for a burial and you don't have, the body will not remain there. They will still always bury that person. So, but you go and pick money from business because they have called you from there, so and so has died, they need some amount of money. No.
I hear
If this business money and it's not for that purpose, do not divert it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ronald, I have Stanley here, is from Chireka. He wants advice on how to deal with workers in a business. How do you handle the issue of human resource?
Yeah, I think actually Simon has touched quite a bit on it. And when you think about human resource, the first thing is you need to ask yourself, how do they come in? How do they come in? Usually you are the first employee in your business. You're the business owner. And it's also important to ask yourself whether you are managing well as yourself well as an employee. One of the things Simon has mentioned is giving yourself a salary so that you also are paid in your business. Most business owners don't know that they're also employees. If I'm the managing director, so they are an employee. Then I go and I'm a shareholder, I own the shares. So it's important you treat yourself well as an employee. Good starting point is to make sure that you're paid. But you have to ask yourself, how do I get people into the business? How do I get people? Am I recruiting the right people? It means, is there a need? I'm looking for a tailor. That person I'm looking for, does the person I'm looking for have a skill? Sometimes people come into our business simply because they are available. Someone says, I've finished school, then they say, you come and work in the business. But that's not how the job should be created. It should be what's their need. And then there is when they're in, do you treat them well? Payment is very important. Respecting your employees is very important. Making sure that you treat them as human beings. Sometimes your employees are better than you at that specific thing you are doing. So there are possibly people who are better designers than Simon. He has to create an environment where he listens to them so that he gets that back. But also there is the exit. Making sure that if there is an employee who has to leave, also don't delay the process of letting that person go. Because the moment you delay that process of letting the person go, you create a toxic environment within the workplace. Sometimes there is an employee who, you tell employees to do something, but sometimes, no, don't worry, boss, you don't worry about that one. That one, we don't do it like that. And your job was to fire him. So as the business owner, you need to ask yourself, have you fired at the right time? Because sometimes that's a decision. And firing or letting go of an employee is a tough thing to do. And most entrepreneurs struggle. They say, let me keep. So there's time. Possibly that some problems can be solved with training and support. If that's the case, well and good. But if you need to let someone go, then you need to make sure the exit is also well done.
I hear you. Now, Simon, George from Bali is asking, how do you motivate your workers to work for long hours?
Okay. You see, like in that payment, we can agree that a shirt, either it is 5,000 shillings to make, but I'll give you 500 shillings per shirt for your lunch. You first have to do that. But what has kept me with these people, some of them have been with them for 10 years that I've been there, still there. You keep surprising them. Like there's some days you feel like, this contract was better than the other. You simply tell them that, okay, this month, even though I'm paying you money for lunch, I am also providing free lunch for everyone. Oh, that month, my friend, you'll just see people working for extra hours. Just as simple as that. Maybe you're just going to lose either 15,000 a day, but you know that the output that's going to come is going to be higher than the other. And then sometimes we employ people and you treat them like they're just workers. It is wrong. When this person has a problem, says I lost his relative and so forth, get involved in it like you're the one who has got a problem. That's how I handle it. If my staff has a problem, it becomes my problem. So I have to move with you to the level until we finish that. Then we come, and that worker will always be like, oh, when I had the problem, boss never...
You stood with him.
Never let me alone.
That's a good one. Ronald, there's a viewer here is asking, my question, how can I be good at marketing products, much as I don't have any skills in that area? Where do I begin?
Yeah, I think when you think about how to get good at anything, and he specifically asks about marketing, is to ensure that you have acquired that skill. So, for example, if you say that the product which I'm selling electronics, there are those of us who are not naturally gifted to market. There are people who are marketers, they do it almost naturally. But if you are not, then you say, how can I be able to get that skill? And a good place to start is by finding someone who is doing it well, and you understudy. And that's how we learn. And sometimes if you're a business owner, just bring someone into your business who is a good marketer. Your job is to be a learner when they are there. How do they do it? How do they respond? When they get into a meeting, what do they do? When they leave the meeting, what do they do? That process of understanding can be done. There's quite a bit of training and a number of partners who deliver training on marketing. That's also another good place to be. But also, I think there is the sense that we are not all going to sell the same way. Some people they sell insurance, but they're very calm people. Some marketers, they're very calm. But the sale actually happens. It doesn't mean that someone is always flamboyant or what. But the point is that there are people who are very, very good at their job and they market. So it's okay to say, what is my style going to be? You know, there's a temptation to believe that if I'm going to be a big marketer, I need to get into that room and warm the... But some people calmly come and sit by your table and they say, this is the product I'm selling, this is how I'm selling. And then very soon, the sales, the numbers show that they actually deliver on the sales. So you need to ask yourself, which style can be able to suit me? And then you kind of push.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, Sumaya is asking, Simon, this is yours. How can a stay-home mom grow her tailoring business? I think she's home, she has a tailoring machine.
Yes.
She wants that operation to grow.
You see, today, you have that phone there.
Yes.
If you give your son or daughter that phone, she or he might use it just for playing music. If you pick the same phone and give to your grandmother, it will always have missed calls only. When you pick it and give to a DJ here, you'll use it for playing music. That's what. Then when it gets back to you, you are networking with Simon, you're networking with another person from outside Uganda, and so forth. You look at that simple phone. At the mother at home, she has that phone. Most people now have smartphones. And with the designing of fashion, women will always look for a tailor, even if she or he is deep in the village there, as long as they say that is a person who can make for me the best clothes. They will follow you. Take a snap of what you are doing, send it to social media, on Facebook, and keep telling people that I can do this, this is what I do. People will follow you. So later use that phone that she has and use it for lobbying, for looking for market, for advertising herself. Even the neighbors there will help her. If neighbors realize that all the children's clothes, that's where they make them from, and they are really looking good, they'll keep telling them that don't again go to town. Auntie so and so is just next door here. So she can market herself. And you will not even go for those taxes, paying tax in being in town. You'll just be comfortable doing work at your own pace.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I have James Salemi, our ardent viewer, is saying he agrees with you on capital being, rather your head being your first source of capital. But I'm also seeing quite a number of people from Kumi and Ngora watching and sending regards. We love you people in Ngora and Kumi. Thank you for watching the show. Now, Ronald, I have someone here, is Mulia Regan. He's from Kawempe. He's saying, how can I start business? Because I've tried setting up many businesses, but I fail.
I think he raises a very pertinent issue, especially, and there are a number of people who are watching who have really been at it. You have tried a restaurant, you have tried a hardware store, you have tried a services business. But I think what's important, especially if you have been a person who has tried businesses a number of times, is to not so much reflect on the next business as it is to reflect on why the ones that I have done failed. So that it is very important, especially the people who are starting out, is really the first time. But if you have started 3 or 4, you need to ask yourself, what is it about the businesses I did earlier that went wrong? So I'll give you an example. You could have started a restaurant, for example, but you notice that the real reason was that you didn't pay full attention to it because possibly you are working and you couldn't juggle, and that was the reason. So the fact is the business did fail because the restaurant didn't work, because the restaurant didn't have customers, but it failed because possibly you couldn't dedicate sufficient amount of time. So you need to kind of profile those lessons. There are businesses which you start and you notice that you are not well capitalized. You possibly are doing something too big and you can't be able to swallow all of it, and you needed to swallow a smaller piece. There are businesses which you start and you possibly started it in the wrong location.
Yes.
So you need to ask yourself what actually went wrong, and that's something, a process which you need to go through. One of the things which we do at Enterprise Uganda is to sit with people and take them through that journey. If you have, and ask yourself what exactly went wrong here, because the next business you start is really going to be built on the pillars of the lessons of the businesses which you have started, so that you can be able to say that actually this is what works for me. I'll give you an example. One of the things is people who are possibly, you have an 8-to-5 job. There are businesses which are possibly impossible to do if you have an 8-to-5 job. The way you need to structure it has to be totally different. You need to recruit better, for example, because someone needs to sit there and get it done. You can't lock your boutique and only come at 5 and open it. It could work for a bit, but you might not feel the full benefit.
Yeah.
So that's the process which I would advise my brother to go through. And then also take a moment and make sure and ask yourself, have I been improving? Because some people are failing, but you are failing better. The first time you failed really badly, but now you are failing better. So it's a moment of just saying a couple of steps and I'll actually get there. So you need to ask yourself, even what has been my trajectory? If it was money, just you would say, first one I lost 20 million. Next one I lost a bit less. The other one I didn't actually lose money, but I didn't succeed. So something is improving. So you see the good and the bad in your journey, and then you use that as you start the next venture.
Beautiful. Now I have Rema Krutu. She's from Ngora. She's saying, thanks for the show. I wanted to know from Brother Simon how he has managed to maintain both businesses without fail, even when things get tough. It's tough times.
Yeah, you see, me personally, I'm not a person who sees the problem and I remain there. So like when COVID came in, that would be the worst time I would say I'm gone, because the Simotech business deals with the uniforms.
Yeah.
And you know, had supplied almost colleges. I supply Soroti PTC, Ngora PTC, Kapchura PTC, Mityana, Busubuzi PTC, many colleges. And some of them had not paid. The schools have closed. The school, the other side, Tutasio Nursery and Primary School, what just entered, it's closed. So I said, okay, how do I survive in this tough time now?
Yes.
You have to show for that the fuel is still to be in the car if you are to move, and you have to remain respected as the director. I surveyed around very fast now, which business moves in this time of COVID. I started the produce shop. Immediately, and from now people like, this boy has magic or what? But no, you have to first study. What do people want? Even the other friend of ours said that every business fails. Sometimes it does not study what do people want. If the community is full of Muslims, you are going there with your pork joint, my friend, to do what? So you have to study what people want. So with that, I realized even COVID did not sweep me out. I remained the person I am. Then of course now running up and down the other side and this side, these days with their phones. And you keep, as you wake up in the morning, you have a plan. I call Kumi, like, okay, today what are we doing? They're like, okay, we're finishing this and this and this work. Okay, you think we shall do it for how long? This. Good. You start. You can tell them that I'm coming also. May not even be going there. Then maybe today you're like, I want to be at school. There are days I just say, today I want to dedicate to this particular place. Maybe the school only one, because I have to keep talking to my parents. That bond should not end. Two, I have to enter nursery always. That is the basis of a school, by the way. When nursery students see you come and they're running to you, anchors come, you know you'll succeed.
That's a good
But when they see you come and they're like, these guys come. Yes. So they keep chanting your name when you move around, you keep waving, and please wave to children, hug them if you're running a school business.
Or you could be the name they mentioned to keep to have them keep quiet.
Yes, something like that. Maybe like, okay, maybe. See? But they know that when uncle comes, things have to change. They are just too happy that he has come.
That's a beautiful one. Yes. Thank you, Simon. Ronald, as of course we wrap this up, I have quite a number of viewers who are asking. I think one is from Buyukwe. He's saying, when can they have a session from Enterprise Uganda? Another is asking, how can they get, to benefit from Enterprise Uganda sessions? Are they free?
Yeah.
You can take it from there.
All right, great. So for the people who are looking for our services, we encourage to. I'm going to encourage you to go to our website for starters. A lot of our programs are on that. I would also like to share the WhatsApp number of Enterprise Uganda, where we can be able to. Where you can be able to reach out, and we have a number of services that we offer there. Let me just find it. Yes, this is it. Let me read it. So the WhatsApp number for Enterprise Uganda is 0770 839 339. And when you reach out there, you will get onto our database, and we'll be able to share with you. We have a number of programs. The last we were in Buvuma. I think I was trying to look for a place which is close to Buikwe, but we were in the island somewhere, sometime in October, and even our brothers in Buikwe, we will get there. So please do use that WhatsApp number, and we will be able to get onto our database, and you can be able to access some of the services. There are a number of trainings for people who are starting out, people who are a bit larger, and people who are possibly even having struggling businesses. So we would be very glad to be able to share those services. So please just reach out to that WhatsApp number, and you'll also get the email on that WhatsApp number, and you'll be able to connect and get the services.
Thank you very much. Viewers, that's all the time we had for. Simon, thank you for making time to come on the Business X-Ray.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ronald. It's been really nice to have you around, and I hope you've picked very critical lessons in business. I've been your host, Charles Boji. Now, from me and team, we'd like to wish you a very good evening. Good evening, and God bless you.